we are learning how to set up a family as a government to bring peace into the home. And we're joined by Spencer and Nicholeen Peck. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you. It's good to be here today.
Okay, so you guys did a documentary that aired on the BBC in Britain, and it was actually really popular.
Yes, actually, the show, they are the ones that started the whole world's strictest parents thing over there.
Okay.
And their show is as popular, they say, as like American Idol is here. So it's quite a big popular show, and ours was the most watched episode ever.
Wow, okay, so when you go there, people recognize you.
Yeah, we hope to get there. We haven't gone yet.
Oh, you haven't been there? Okay.
No, but we've been told that we're quite known there. So.
That is so funny. Okay,
Yeah.
well, your episode aired last November. What kind of response did you get? Everyone loved it, or what they say about your parenting skills?
It was amazing. And a lot of people said, you know, this episode shouldn't have been called the world's strictest parents. It should have been called the world's best parents.
Oh, well, isn't that great?
Like,
give yourselves pats on the back.
I know. I was so excited about that.
Because when you hear strict, sometimes that isn't the best connotation.
Yeah, you feel like that's not necessarily loving.
Well, and you know, when they asked me to do the show, they said, do you consider yourself to be a strict parent? And I was like, well, no, I don't yell at my children or anything. And they said, well, would you let your children smoke and go hang out at the pub with their friends? And I said, well, no. And they said, well, would you let your children, you know, get tattoos and all this kind of stuff? And I said, well, no. And they said, well, then you're strict.
And Spencer,
so I thought,
what do you think? Do you think you guys are strict?
Well, according to those standards, yes. But our parenting style is a little bit different than maybe a lot of parents parent their children. We've actually written a book about our parenting styles, which is available on our website, which is teachingselfgovernment.com. That is available to buy on the website. And that goes over a lot of our different styles. Our parenting style is going over concerns with our children, not just reacting to them. We have a certain system that we follow every time. We've had a lot of troubled teens in our home that we've been able to work with and help them overcome their problems.
So give us an idea of the structure you're talking about, in a nutshell, if you can.
Okay, the nutshell would be that there's 4 basic skills that we like to teach our children. And then we have a certain, what we call a family government, a certain system of meetings and things that we do to check upon the family. We have a vision of why we're doing this, why we want to worry about getting along. And then we have a certain way that we communicate with our children when they do something wrong, when they do something good.
Okay, and this starts when they're really young, or this is once
Absolutely, when they're little. And we're always talking. We're just big talkers. But as far as the strict thing goes, I found out, I looked up strict, I looked up in the dictionary, and it said strict is a person that follows a set of principles exactly, and I thought, well, then we are strict.
So you're strict.
I guess we are.
Okay, so the bottom line is you are strict parents.
We are.
Lovingly
in a good way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, we're going to come back a little bit later.
Right, we'll talk about those 4 things. We'll talk about how you can do that. And then I know that we're all looking for some magic answer when it comes to parenting, so we'll ask you some
Hopefully
questions
we can give you some of those.
Okay, great.
I bet there isn't any magic.
No, it's probably...
Actually, yes, you're right. There's no magic. There's no
this is
tricks.
just like dieting.
Yeah.
There's no tricks, and that's the exciting thing about what we teach and what we do in our home is that we're not tricking our children. We're just having good communication.
Good.
Okay, that's the bottom line. We'll come back, talk a little bit more, and right after this we'll have more.
Well, welcome back. Today we are learning how to set up a family government to bring peace to the home. And don't be scared. It's not that bad.
It's not like the federal government.
Yeah,
It's
not a dictatorship.
Right.
No,
okay.
no, it's definitely not.
Yeah, this is Spencer Nicholeen Peck, and you guys were featured in the British documentary, The World's Strictest Parents, and we pretty much established what strict is, which is
living by a certain set of principles.
Okay,
most families, it seems like, should have something like that, or at least the concept, right?
You know, they do. I think a lot of people actually live by certain things, but whether they actually write it down and say, this is our family's standard, or this is how our family runs itself, that gives your family stability. And we believe in doing that. So we have certain standards about what our children will say, won't say, what things we'll take into our body and not, and stuff. And we actually have it written down. So if they ever come to me and say, I want to pierce my nose, then I would say, well, our family standard says that our family doesn't pierce their noses. So actually,
but what if they go get it pierced anyway?
Okay, well, actually, if they went to get it pierced anyway, and they would not be accepting a no answer. And that's one of the 4 skills that we teach. We teach that they need to learn how to follow instructions, accept no answers and criticism, accept consequences when they come, and disagree appropriately. So our children would know that they can disagree with us in an appropriate way. Yeah, they can appeal and say, okay, well, I understand this is what you think, but this is why I want it, and we can talk about it. And they know that we will always talk with them if they are calm. When the 2 British teens came, they were screaming and yelling and hollering and running away for 2 days, and finally on day 3, they just calmed down. And I said to Hannah, that was the 17-year-old girl, I said, how come all of a sudden today you're calm? And she said, well, at my house, if I yell, I get my way, or someone at least yells back. But here, you guys are just so calm, so I just thought I'd try it.
Yeah, I really have an issue with yelling, because I feel like if you are a yeller, you yell all the time, then pretty soon no one cares that you're yelling. Like, that should be something that if mom's yelling, there is a problem.
It's also an adjustment for the parents. The parents have to understand it. They have to change themselves to be able to be calm in a situation, and the children know and the parents know, no matter what situation happens, you had a set of steps that you follow in every situation.
And the kids know that we use those same steps.
Right, and so you're not reacting. If your daughter or son comes home and their nose pierced, you don't go nuts. You say, all right, well, let's sit down and let's talk about this, and following the steps that
now take the dang thing out.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Okay, you got the books.
I do. I've got the books, and I've got one for each of you.
Oh,
it's called Parenting a House United.
Well, thank you.
Yes, it's actually, right now it's only on sale on my blog, which is teachingselfgovernment.com.
Okay.
But we're getting it into bookstores and stuff like that. We've actually sold half of all that we bought already within like a month and a half of it being on sale. So it's being a big seller, and people are just loving it. And it's selling all around the world because of the show. We've been sending them to Australia and New Zealand and everywhere.
So another printing, I guess.
We all want peace in our homes, but the idea of setting something up, a strict set of regulations and routine can be overwhelming. So what would your advice be for people
Do you know what? If I could give a few little pieces of advice, one thing would be that if something is happening and you go, whoa, I don't like this, or this seems out of control, instead of reacting to it, which is the human tendency to do, instead describe. So I always teach people, say, just now you threw a block and it hit your sister in the head. And when you do that, and then all of a sudden you get in a describe the situation, describe why it was bad, and then describe what you should have done, which that would be one of the 4 skills. They should have disagreed appropriately with their sister instead of hit
throw
or
the block.
Or if they have an attitude problem, then I'd say, right now you have an attitude problem, and I can tell you want to talk to me. As soon as you're calm, we can talk. I want to hear what you have to say. So what you need to do is take some deep breaths and get calm, and then we'll have a discussion about this.
All right, so where can folks go? What's the website?
teachingselfgovernment.com. And I answer free parenting questions there. So if people type in questions, I get to them as soon as I can, and I keep her running. I answer people's questions.
Okay.
And the whole reason we do this is families are falling apart all over the world, and you
can see why. It's hard to run a family.
It is.
And if you look at the kids that came to our house, they don't have a set of rules. They don't have
streaming videos, and it's on there. Those kids were bawling, and you know why they were crying? They said, we don't want to go. At the end, they were like, we don't want to go. You don't understand. We know that we can do good here. Please let us stay. And we said, we can't. You're on a show. You have to go.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in. We would love to have you guys back.
Yeah, this is cool.
Thank you. We'd love to come back if we can help parents.
Love to have you.
Very good.
All right, there's the book, House United, Teaching Self-Government.
Know what my weekend reading involves, because it's going to be snowy, especially in Central and